Welcome to Career Success, the premier program dedicated to helping you navigate the path of professional excellence. Whether you are just starting out as an entrepreneur looking to advance your career or considering a career change, this program is designed to provide you with the insight, the tools, and inspiration you need to achieve your career goals. This is Achievement Channel, and we are reaching you from the School of Eloquence here in Lagos. My name is Oyinpriye Krumale. Our guest is a distinguished accountant, a high-profile administrator, and a renowned educator known for exceptional achievements and contributions to our industry. Ms. Doreen Onyekwelu is a dynamic leader with a remarkable career spanning over 28 years of working experience across health, manufacturing, and educational sectors in Nigeria. In 2005, Doreen moved to the Lagoon School to take up a position as a Director of Finance and Administrator and served for 17 years until her appointment to the position of Acting Principal in 2022. She became the principal in 2023 and heads the school's management team. She's also a member of the governing board of Lagoon School. Good day to you, Doreen.
Good afternoon, Mr. Priye.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Your profile is quite robust, and I am thinking, where am I going to start from?
You can start from anywhere.
Thank you very much. It's nice to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Now, can you share with us, just a little bit about your upbringing, your influence, and your interest, and just what you feel the public should know concerning your background in education?
Oh, great. Thank you very much. I come from a family of 6 children. My dad, 84 years, so does a lot of things. In fact, I like to mention his name all the time because he's my role model. My mom as well is a teacher, 71 years, yes.
71.
Great, yes.
I see.
And they still drive, do a lot of things for themselves, no house help, for instance. So if you see them, you'll be proud to have them as your parents.
No house helps at 84 and 71.
71.
I see.
They do the cooking together, they go to market together, they do things together.
At that age?
At that age.
I see. That's where I think this generation needs to be learning a lot from that.
I remember telling the parents during one of our parents' forum, and I met a parent in one of the stores in Lagos, and what he reminded me, said, remember that talk you gave telling us about your 84-year-old dad? I said, wow, you remembered. He said, that was the only thing I took away, and you told us that he still drives.
Wow. That's great to hear. Let's move away from that. Now let's start talking about you. Your career beginnings and motivation. Can you share with us what inspired you to pursue a career in accounting and finance?
Great. As far back as when I was in primary 3, the first newspaper I read, looking at career path, I saw accountancy. And one of the subjects required is mathematics. I loved mathematics. My mom is a mathematician, my dad is a mathematician. As long as the AC is on, I'm ready to solve mathematics till daybreak.
Wow.
So yes, I really wanted to study accountancy. But I must tell you that while in SS1, my mom now wanted me to study pharmacy. I was doing very well in physics, I was doing very well in chemistry, but I didn't really like biology. Why did she want me to study pharmacy? Because she felt, oh, my first sister is studying banking and finance, my second sister is studying accountancy, we are 6 children, why do I want to study accountancy? She wants to be a mother of a doctor or a pharmacist and all of that. So I had to drop accounts in my SS1 to do physics, chemistry, biology. But my first jam, I didn't make the cutoff.
Okay.
My dad, like I said, being my role model, had to call me to say, you know what? It's not the end of life, begin again. Because my first 3, I'm the 4th child, the first 3 entered university immediately. So I had to step back, write jam
and wait
for 1 good year, yes.
Okay.
So I had to take up geography, as well as government, which I didn't do while in school. But I got all the support from my dad as well as my mom that eventually understood. So I went back to reading for JAMB again to do accountancy, which was my dream as far back as primary 3 when I was just 9 years old.
I see. All right. How did your experience as an accounts clerk, at Niger Foundation Hospital and Diagnostic Center shape your career aspirations? Because it seems that's where you started.
Yes, that was actually when I was in my first year in the University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, studying accountancy, and the school went on strike. And I don't like just staying at home, not doing anything. So I decided to apply for that job, which I got to be the accounts clerk in Niger Foundation Hospital. I worked there for like 3 months before they called off the strike and I went back to school. I was really happy to have that opportunity. One funny thing I must say is, okay, there wasn't any counting machine, for instance. I know how you count money like this, but they taught me how to count money fast in this manner. I was really glad. And I got good, lovely feedback because I would say that I'm someone that is very meticulous. I will never want to leave without balancing my accounts and all of that. So, yes.
The left and the right must correlate.
Exactly.
Okay.
For any debit entry, there must be a corresponding credit entry. So that was really helpful. When school resumed, I just felt, wow, I'm in the right profession studying accountancy. Okay. And it gave me push when school started.
All right. That's great. So,
and that was the first time I touched money, telling myself, wow, this is the work I did, and I'm being paid for it.
When you said that's the first time you touched money, is it like you touched the physical currency?
I earned money.
You earned money
as an accountant. Money as an accountant, not asking my parents to give me money for something because I already had my own savings from the work I did.
Whilst you're still in school?
Yes.
Okay.
While I was still in school.
Now, let's run up a little. Human resource and team development. You, from your profile, I have seen that you had some quite experience with leadership and whilst you're transitioning from being an accountant to another sector where though you're still carrying out the accounting activities, but it was a complete different organization and in a complete different sector. So tell us about that transition.
Okay, after my university, I did my NYC in an accounting firm where I must say I got the knowledge I needed to excel in my career path, being an accountant. So from there, I worked in a hospital as a chief accountant and helped to set up the accounts department. In fact, it was very funny because the director said, I'm not going to call you just an accountant. I'm going to call you the chief accountant because you are the one in charge of this department. One thing I noticed is the delay in payment of salaries. But when I came on board, I had to learn how to be fast in collecting debts in order to be able to submit and have enough funds for us to be able to pay our workers.
What did you do to the people? Did you threaten them?
To make the payments?
Yes.
Definitely not. I started on time. Reminders. Being a hospital is also very, will I use the word, that empathy. Someone is not feeling fine and you're going to remind, especially those in the ward, you need to make this payment. But I don't go through that part just directly. I go visiting them often, sharing their pain with them, encouraging them. And in fact, the patient will be the one telling whether it's the parent or whoever has to make the payment. Please, we need to settle just because of the route I was following. I was able to make sure that debts were settled in good time in order to be able to pay them salary before the end of the month, of each month. Okay.
You're still watching Career Success on Achievement Channel. We're going to break shortly and we'll be back in a moment. Do stay with us.
Do you feel terrified when speaking before a group? Are you stressed when asked to present? Do you bore people when speaking? Are you stuck with reading word for word? How do you give a speech with polish? Learn how at the School of Eloquence,
the home of public speaking for private coaching in public speaking. Call 0802 303 2066 or log on to schoolofeloquence.org.
School of Eloquence, teaching the world to speak.
Welcome back, and many thanks for joining us on the program Career Success. I'm still having a conversation with Doreen Onyekwelu, an accountant, with an expanse of 28 years in the profession. Welcome back, Doreen.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's talk about some of the challenges you encountered whilst you're practicing your profession, and some of the hurdles you needed to, to scale over, some of the mountains you faced as a practitioner. Tell us about it.
After my master's in accounting, same university, I got a job as the accountant. There was actually an accountant there already before I joined. But on getting there, I realized that there weren't accounting manuals. I was learning from what I was seeing. Nothing was laid down. The onboarding wasn't so fantastic. I told myself that whatever it is that I'm learning here or doing here, I must document everything to make it a lot easier for those that will come after me to have something to rely on and make onboarding easier for them. So that I managed to achieve, setting up all the accounting manuals. And from there, we transitioned from the manual aspect to using QuickBooks. QuickBooks is an accounting software which many companies use, so that helped a lot. It's a manufacturing company, and it's already a different set from the hospital. So hospital, you're talking about the income and expenditure, profit and loss services, but this is a manufacturing company. It also helped me to practice more of the things I learned in university, like cost accounting and management accounting, which is a different set of accounting from just the financial accounting.
Okay. Oh, so the kind of accounting that you practiced and executed when you were, working in the hospital is different from that
Completely
which
different.
obtained from the
In a
manufacturing sector.
Yes.
Now, you were saying something about one of the companies where you worked for. There were no accounting standards or manuals to guide procedures to guide the accountants there. You set the record straight there. Didn't you encounter any of the accountants who were in that company who came after you?
Yeah,
Were there cases like that?
Yes, there was a big challenge, but I really overcame, and I thank God, because there was an accountant, so I was I was the second accountant.
Okay.
And 6 months after my confirmation, I was made the financial manager, and this accountant was still there. So you can imagine how it will look like, and a male at that matter.
I see.
Anyway, but what helped me a lot was the soft skills, human relations, making him understand that we are here, we share a common goal, and we must make it work. So it's not about the position, it's not about the title, but about our working together, collaborating. And that also settled his mind, because I learned a lot from him, and he also learned a lot from me, and worked hand in hand with me to ensure that we had that accounting principles documented.
Let's talk about your key successes and milestones.
Okay.
Which of these areas in your previous company, were there any key successes and milestones that you achieved? And also in the manufacturing, were there any key successes or the highest, will I call it accolade, or what you achieved whilst practicing within your 28 years span that you can boast about and confidently talk about?
One of the greatest things, I'll say, if I look back, I'm very happy to remember are the people I worked with, because I also helped them to see the importance of owning one's job. Okay. So we're not just working for a company, but we are working for ourselves. So to grow in integrity, just things as little as being punctual to work. I help them to see that it's really important to work with that mindset so that we'll be able to give our best. And people were grateful.
Okay, those achievements, were there promotions? Were there not just promotions in instances where you were celebrated and you were more like in the limelight, in the middle, in the organization? Because if that doesn't, I was expecting to hear something like that since you were.
Oh,
you
definitely.
Yes, tell us about those.
Remember that when I started, I said that 6 months after,
Yes.
once immediately I was confirmed from just being an accountant, I was made the financial manager. And truly I was asking myself, wow, just 6 months into what I was doing, I looked back. One thing I said to myself, I guess they saw the attitude to work which I had. Just a little story on coming to Lagos for auditing. I went with my managing director, my direct boss. She was the one that told me this story afterwards when we were doing stock counts. And what was in the book wasn't aligning with what we were counting physically. And I said, no, we need to recount again. And the salesperson kept on saying, but it's just a difference of one.
An insignificant amount.
Is very insignificant according to him. But I just said 1 + 1 is equal to 2, and it has to balance. Either we change what is in the book because that's not what we are counting. And he was taken aback, but we had to do the right thing. So by the time I got back, my managing director actually told me that she overheard the conversation, that she was impressed. It's just something very little, but you can imagine how little things like this impress the owners because they feel you've taken it as your own, which was what I was trying to help every member of staff to see, that this your environment is yours. So if they are the head of sales, take up that role and work as a head of sales, that you are the owner of this organization. That mindset helps people a lot.
Okay, I see that. Now, you've worked in the medical sector, in the industry, you moved to manufacturing, and finally, you transitioned to education, which is, now you are the principal of one of the biggest schools in Lagos, Nigeria, the Lagoon School. You're not just the principal, you're also a member of the governing board.
Right.
How did you achieve that?
Moving to Lagos to work in Lagoon School, I actually went to work as a director of finance and administration. There wasn't a department set up for that. The vice principal, administration, and an accountant, they were just doing what they could do best. So the intention was to go and assist in setting up that department. But I fell in love with the school, and I said, well, this is an institution I want to work in, because it's like leaving home and going home. So it was, for me, it was home away from home. Yes, I was able to do that, setting up that department, introduced all I had learned from where I worked before in the East, coming to Lagos, using the same accounting software, QuickBooks. What made me to transition from being an accountant to moving as the principal of Lagoon School, I want to believe that the pioneer principal already saw that in me. She already had that vision. It's true someone succeeded her, but she needed to move to Lagos Business School. That's where she's working now, and I also learned a lot from her. So I'm like the third principal of the Lagoon School. I would want to say that there's a level you will reach in your career. What matters is now the soft skills, your relationship with people, which I call human skills, because you're dealing with parents, you're dealing with members of staff, you're dealing with students. So it's beyond just the managerial work of trying to do accounts, but we're now talking of leading people and ensuring that the people are doing what they ought to do. So I want to believe that the principal saw that a lot in me, because I will never want to leave until something is achieved. And I entered into mentoring the members of staff as well as students, even their parents. So there was something they must have seen in me, which for me, they are those soft skills, not the hard skills.
Okay. First of all, before you moved in there, you worked in the acting capacity as a principal before you were finally appointed as the substantive principal. Now, why were you first in acting capacity? They were still assessing your capacities? Or?
Yes. Okay. I became the acting principal because my background is accounting. I didn't have education qualification, so I needed to get that. It was something I never dreamt of, but I told myself, if this is an opportunity, why don't I go and get the qualification? So I had to get my professional diploma in education, as well as the mini MBA I did in education. So that took 1 year and a few months. So I have those qualifications. So now I'm the
principal. That's great. That's great news. Now, for many young professionals, for young people, because I see you talked about mentoring, and you equally referenced how you mentored staff members and students who have dreams. Some of them, whilst you're giving mentoring classes to them, who want to be like you, an accountant, or want to be someone in the corporate setting that will impact, our career and the jurisdiction of our career positively. What advice would you give to these persons who have such aspiration, but they are being deterred by some of the hurdles they face or some of the challenges they encounter on the way?
The first thing I'm going to say is integrity. I like that when people are doing something, let them be known for what they are doing and let them do it very well. So whatever it is that they are doing or saying is what they are doing. And if I look back, I'll tell myself that that's what made me reach where I am now, not just because of my qualifications, but that's working with that mindset that I'm here to help people. I'm happy when people are happy. So my advice to these people will be to continue doing what they're doing and to tell themselves that I want to do it uprightly. I want to do it well. I want to do it, well, I will say above all, for love of God. Yes.
Okay, but in this generation, if one is going to engage in any career or in any profession, money is one of the primary motivating factor. Would you not consider that?
Money will come, but the first thing is service, hard work. People are not interested in the what, it's a how. You may want to get all the money and you get it today and tomorrow you don't get it. But when you are there to serve and people see that your interest is to give them the best, that money will come because you won't lose them.
Okay.
They will remain with you.
Money will come. People are not interested in the what, but in the how.
Yes.
Those are not my words. Those are the words of Doreen Onyekwelu. She's been our guest today. Thank you so much for your time with us, Doreen. It's nice to have you on our program.
Thank you, Mr. P.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And this is where we draw the curtain on the program Career Success. Until I come your way again, I am Oyinpriye Krumale. Many thanks for watching.